they're unpopular and unfazed. That's the focus of tonight's Angle. All right, if you spend too much time on social media, you might think that the Republican Party is heading for an absolute drubbing in November. The war in Iran, oil prices jumping, the GOP infighting, and before that, the Minnesota chaos, all the signaling a major slide out of the majority for Republicans. And Democrats, you think, are sitting in the catbird seat. Well, tonight I'm telling you, don't believe the hype. The truth is the Democrats are suffering from a battered brand syndrome. A new CNN poll shows us that their favorability is around 29%, a record low going back to 1992. Good going. And last week, another survey by NBC News found similar results. Only 30% of registered voters view the Democratic Party positively, while 52% view it negatively. The New York Post put it all in context. The Democratic Party has a lower net favorability rating than its Republican rivals, President Trump, and even the much maligned Immigration and Customs Enforcement, a.k.a. ICE. Now, the internal satisfaction among Dems, that's not great either. Only 62% to 63% of Democrats approve of their party's leadership in Congress. Republicans, though, actually did much better. Among their voters, they have a 77% approval rating. Not bad. The release of the NBC News survey came a few days after the latest Fox poll that indicated a record 70% of registered voters disapproved of the job congressional Democrats are doing. Yikes. So why are the Democrats so unpopular? Because Americans know that instead of prioritizing their safety, their well-being, they instead support degenerates like Rogerio Martinez, who on Friday allegedly went on a bus stop stabbing spree, leaving one victim critically wounded and another bloodied. This thug had been already arrested 6 times in Texas over 22 years, including aggravated robbery, aggravated assault, assault causing serious bodily injury, and assault on a security officer. So with his rap sheet, Martinez never should have been seeing the light of day. He's a career criminal. He showed zero capacity to reform his behavior. So where are the Democrats? Where are they speaking out against this dangerous revolving door of justice? I'll tell you. They're too busy defunding DHS or grandstanding against ICE and giving cover to those who are protecting the most vile individuals on the planet, like accused child rapist Walter Roberto Vides Ortiz. Last month in the Boston area, when ICE was conducting surveillance operations outside his residence, this is what they were met with.
Could you please identify yourself, what you're doing in our community? Are you law enforcement, someone with a big mask on? Can you let us know what you're doing here?
The result was a covert op that could have been just taking really hours or maybe a day or two, took a month longer than necessary because when ICE agents were waiting for the suspect to come out, they were quickly surrounded by activists who blew whistles, cursed at them, you heard that, and said they were traumatizing children at a nearby elementary school. It's just ridiculous. Now, these are the Democrats' most prized constituents: illegal alien criminals, child rapists. Instead of turning them over to DHS for swift deportation, liberals do everything in their power to protect these sickos. Angel David Rubio of Northern Virginia should have been deported long ago, but sanctuary policies and left-wing enclaves across America, like Northern Virginia, keep these people here, allowing them to be released back into society, only to go on and commit more crimes. This freak, by the way, used Roblox, that video game, to solicit child porn from children under the age of 10. Last year, he was arrested in Prince William County, about 30 minutes from here, on 2 counts of public masturbation. But, of course, he was released without their notifying DHS. Of course, not that the Biden people would have done anything about it anyway. Trump's DHS has filed a detainer asking Virginia politicians not to release him again. So voters, watch this closely. Know what you're voting for. Newly elected Abigail Scamberger is proud of ending her state's cooperation with ICE.
On my first day in office, I said that I rescinded my predecessor's executive order and stated that no longer were these relationships mandated. And then I took a full review of the existence of 287G agreements across the Commonwealth of Virginia to have a full picture of what it is that we would be walking away from.
The Democrats' numbers are in the toilet because they're not only willing to endanger the lives of innocent Americans to protect illegals, because they also don't even respect the privilege of American citizenship. This is why they're fighting the Save America Act tooth and nail. We know illegals have already figured out how to vote in the United States, and we know how they're doing it. The feds busted this guy, Mahdi Sakho of Mauritania, for voting in every election since 2008 by fraudulently claiming citizenship. And yeah, of course, Chinese nationals are gaming the system, too. Weizhang Gao, 19 years old, was a student at the University of Michigan when he was charged last year with illegally voting in the 2024 election. But then he fled to China before he could face justice here. He had another passport with a different serial number. The New York Post found that he's still, by the way, on the voter rolls. But instead of taking any of this seriously, the Democrats want to make it easier to fraud the vote by opposing the wildly popular Save America Act. It strengthens voter ID requirements, which Democrats, for them, it's like sunshine to a vampire. And speaking of Dracula lookalikes,
at a moment when war is consuming the Middle East, when costs are rising, when ICE agents are terrorizing our communities, and when job growth in America is weakening, MAGA Republicans have chosen to focus on voter suppression.
Okay, unconvincing. Just another clueless geezer reading what some 25-year-old staffer wrote for him. So you can disagree with President Trump as you might on this or that issue, but at least he's trying to tackle the big problems: Iran, the trade imbalance, energy independence, the cartels, crime in our cities. And what are his objectives? What is his goal? In every case, to make life for the average American safer and more prosperous. The pursuit of happiness in a country celebrating its big birthday. The Democrats are not interested in any of that because the only thing they know is how to wreck things. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.